Just getting through that blockage, and then finally I feel like if I were able to shed that, I would be so much like better. I'd be like going off the charts type stuff.
If you just shed that thing that's like, oh, this is stupid, don't do this type of thing, can relate.
Yeah, right.
I'm not worrying about the judgment of it. Cool. What's up, Saul?
What's up, Kevin?
Saul
Mr.
David
Kevin?
Clavano. Mr.
Kevin the GOAT?
Saul the best who ever did it.
Hey.
What's up, man? How's it going? How's your day?
It's going good. It's going good. Man, my day was all right. I was mixing music.
Ooh, fun.
Yeah.
I'm very excited by that. Your new mix was sick.
Thank you.
What was that song called again? 25. I turned 25.
I turned 25.
Yeah. Good mix on that one.
Thank you.
Yeah, a lot of progress.
Yep.
Yeah.
Lots of things I'm paying attention to.
That's good. Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting thing to like learn mixing. I mean, when I first started, I feel like my songs just sounded like crap, you know?
That's so fair. Yeah.
And then you get better and better each time, and you're like, and you get to a point where you're like, even years later, you're like, oh, that doesn't sound as bad as I might have thought.
Yeah. There. I know my first project was super messy, but
it is messy.
Appreciate it to some degree.
Yeah, it's got cool stuff going on though. Like, I think you have a cool ear for sound design.
Heck yeah. Thank you.
For sure. Yeah. And you got like interesting tones and stuff. With your synth stuff. Yeah, there's just a little bit of mess in the vocals, but it sounds cool. But like that's also like somewhat intentional because you kind of want that like more like horror-y vibe. Because the first one is Men's Wrong, second one's Horror House. But you know, I feel like you have kind of like that R&B horror thing going on to your sound, right?
I just want to make something eerie, you know, something that I don't know. I think of anxiety is what I'm trying to like put on to the music to kind of just express that somehow. But
yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
That's how it gets there. I don't know.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I've never thought of like, how would I express anxiety in music? But I feel like whispery, like layered vocals is not a bad way to go about that.
I was experimenting as well, just to kind of gauge or throw into an area and then fine tune it from that point on. Is what I'm hoping that I'm doing with this next stuff that I'm working on.
Oh, I'm very excited. Very excited. Yeah. Are you making like another full album or what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yep. Another collection.
Dope.
Yeah.
And I turned 25 full.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, I'm curious because I don't know if we've talked about this, but like what type of music did you grow up listening to? Because I know The Weeknd was like a big like game changer for you.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, like what else was like kind of like the music in your house when you were growing up?
That is so fair. Well, my dad would play a lot of the music that he had listened to when he was growing up.
Okay.
So I was put on a lot of Queen, a lot of there were the Stylistics, I think.
Okay.
That was just another section of stuff. I mean, off the top of my head, I don't know all of them, but like
yeah.
Just very oldie ballady kind of songs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So like those are the songs you remember from growing up, or like the Queen songs and the ballady songs?
Yeah, there was a lot of rock. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What was it like? Because knowing that The Weeknd was that like kind of big changer for you, because I know he's one of your favorite artists. What was it like when you first kind of discovered that sound? Like, how did it impact your thoughts?
I thought the thing that specifically hit me about his artistry was that he kind of does a sing rap thing, which is like he establishes himself in the genre through his rapping and through his singing specifically. But like the way he melds them together, I just felt like it was just a unique way of someone ever like singing specifically. And I don't know, there was no other artist on my radar that was replicating that exactly. And I don't know, the tone that he took in the messages that he would sing about too, like all of that, like contrast, kind of just that was awesome. Like he captures a really like dark, gritty ambiance, but like beautifully, you know?
Yeah. He kind of like is combining that R&B with that kind of darker aesthetic.
Yeah.
And so then that became like that big influence for you going forward, is to like fuse that kind of like R&B darkness and that kind of rhythmic singing, but it's still singing, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I can definitely hear how you've picked those things. Like you kind of like handpicked those things out. It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So, okay, you were mentioning earlier about the anxiety thing, like how you try to express anxiety through the music. So I'm curious, do you view music as something, do you view the writing process as therapeutic or more as just a creative expression?
I think it is absolutely therapeutic.
Okay.
I initially dove into music writing because I thought it would be a good way to therapize myself, I guess. Like there was a lot of like all of the songs that I've written are like a type of thought that I've ever had or like an experience that I've ever experienced. And it just felt like a big jumble in my brain. And I wanted some kind of outlet to express how I feel about that specific thing into song, I guess. Yeah.
So it was a way of outletting the experiences that you had, kind of retranslating them.
Yeah. Yeah. Like packing it all into one thing and then I don't have to think about it, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Just like releasing it through an artistic expression type of idea.
Yeah.
Cool. That's interesting. Yeah, I find everyone's kind of approach to be fascinating. You know, I know a lot of people do therapy music writing and they come at it from that angle. So I'm always curious how that goes about in their brains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For my process, I like all of my albums, I set them in like different sections of time, I guess. And they're just little segments and chops of how that progressed. Yeah.
Segments in time as in like you're writing about stuff that you're living through currently, or segments in time as in you're processing different periods of your life?
The second one, processing different parts of
life.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's men's wrongs processing? Is that like childhood type stuff?
Oh man, no. That is some ignorant romantic boy. Can I swear or no?
Yeah, go for it. I've already had people swearing, so I'm too late.
Some ignorant boyish shit. It's just like it's a time in my life back in college when I got into a situationship and I had the biggest turmoil about it, thinking that I had like the biggest heartbreak, and I was like, I've been fooled, I've been had, like everyone is to blame except for me. And then I processed all of that, and I was like, well, I put myself in that situation, like how I don't know, like I strung myself along, and I strung other people along, and nobody should have to put up with you being annoying, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
So it was kind of a reflection of, because initially your reaction to everything was, oh, woe is me, this is everyone else's fault. And so that album was kind of a realization for you of, oh, this is actually a lot to do with me. Like this, a lot of the bad stuff that happened here was my fault.
Yeah. I think what I wanted to do was take a route and express that sort of feeling of realization and reflection, and kind of using it as an avenue for other people to also kind of see that as well, if they ever gave it a listen. Some other inspirations that built this was like 500 Days of Summer, about the relationship, and that about how he strings along, his his girlfriend Summer, and she's not feeling it, you know? Like why put up with something that you're not feeling?
Right. Yeah, and that's a pretty interesting one, because I think that one's definitely has that film definitely puts him kind of like both at fault throughout the thing, you know?
Yeah.
Where he has his problem is just that he is wanting something that she doesn't want out of the relationship. Yeah. And so, you know, even though he's feeling strung along, it's really that he's not listening to the fact that she never wanted to have a romantic relationship. She just wanted to, you know, hit it and quit it.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is interesting. Yeah.
I think the reason I wrote this was because I witnessed throughout the circles that I was in that a lot of guys go through this, where they put all of their expectations on a girl, like in their heads, onto a person, and then they get into a thing that they aren't really committed to, and then things fall out because they're chasing after what's in their head instead of what they want realistically, I guess.
Yeah, they're chasing after the ideal instead of the actual person.
Yeah.
Right. Because don't you have a line on it? Or isn't there's a song like Manic Pixie Dream Girl? Is that the name of the song?
Yeah. That was Rose Tinted Mindset. Start.
Yeah. And that's totally, I feel like, about that vibe.
Yes. Yeah.
That's one of the ones where I really like it live, full band.
Mm-hmm.
Best. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that's like the right context for it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds really good in like a full band context. It like really moves and dances in a fun way. Yeah.
I haven't played it very much, but I'm eager every time we do.
Yeah. It's cool. It's a sick song. Okay. So that was about that kind of early college period when you were in a situationship and you were basically going through the same thing as, what's his name?
Tom.
Yeah, Tom.
I don't remember
his actor name. The actor dude whose name is Tom in the movie.
Yeah.
So that was, you were going through something like that.
Yeah.
Which is relatable. I've been in that before too. And I was like, wow, this sucks. And then I did it to someone. Like I played an Uno reverse. Yeah. I felt even worse after that one. I was like, ooh. I was like,
it doesn't feel good all the way around.
No, yeah, those are not they're just not fun relationships. Because I was very much like, oh, hey, yeah, like, I don't know if anything's going to happen here. I can't commit to you because I'm not sure. But she was just, you know, head over heels. And afterwards I was like, ooh, I didn't play that right. I could have.
Yeah.
Her disliking me totally makes sense.
That's fair.
Yeah. And other ways around.
Yeah.
What were we going to say? Sorry.
I was just going to say, like, that's the essence of why I made it, was because people need to realize that sooner, I think.
Totally.
I don't know. Just analyze what you're doing.
Right. And just step out of it.
Yeah.
when you shouldn't be in that type of relationship. Yeah. Okay. And then I'm curious as well. Oh, what was I going to say? Okay. So that's that one. What is Horror House about?
Oh, man.
What time period of your life is that about?
Horror House is a super intimate one that I released in secret because I don't know. It's like a very clouded thing that I don't want to like express directly, but I want, like, in the same way, like that's the avenue that I chose to express these feelings. But it's all of that angst disguised in this like very intense, hyper like fun thing.
So okay, that actually makes so much more sense because I really like Horror House. I think of the two, it's the one I prefer more. But it makes sense that why, because I was kind of curious because you didn't make a big deal out of it. You weren't like promoting it hard. You kind of just released it. Yeah, you're promoting it hard for a bit, and then you like backed off a bunch right before it was released. I felt like, and then it got released, and I was like, "Oh, this is good." Like you did a lot. Like some of the mixes are legitimately good, fair mixes, and the songs are really emotional and intense. Mm-hmm. So that makes sense as to why you didn't, because you're like, ooh, this is stuff I don't actually want to get into as much, but I really need to release this and have this out. so I can process all these things, but I don't want to.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah.
Yeah. Can relate. That's how bashing my head through a wall was for me. I'm like, I just want this to be done.
Yeah.
And put it out.
Exactly.
Because maybe someone will get some value out of it. But
yeah,
I don't want to make too big a deal out of it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I get it. Yeah. Periods we don't want to talk about. Okay. Yeah. On Horror House has the one song that I really like, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's that song called?
Is it The Grudge?
No. It's not The Grudge. What's it called? You're undone and undone. You released it as a single.
No, that's not on Horror House.
Oh, it's not on Horror House. It is just a single. Okay, I thought it was on Horror House as well because it came around the same time as Horror House. Okay, so what was the thought? What was the process behind that one? I'm actually curious how that one might have differed from other things.
So that song was called "That Time of Year."
That Time of Year.
In parentheses again.
Yeah.
I wrote that song in a fugue state. It just came out immediately. It felt like I wrote it within a day, and it was super reactionary because I had a very upsetting conversation with someone, and it just made me reflect on how I didn't want to put up with something like that, like periodically, but like I know it's gonna come, and it's like I'm anticipating it always, and
because it's just like a toxic relationship,
kind of, yeah,
a little bit. Or that relationship more has an annual toxic moment.
I guess so, yeah. It feels like that.
Huh. Interesting. That makes sense because I feel like I remember when we were getting together to do Never Landed.
Yeah.
You were super uncertain about like stuff you were coming up with as you were coming up with it. And I was like, oh, this is great. And I think I really like that immediacy. Like, I think I like when you're writing fast and immediate and just letting it flow. I don't know why, but I feel like that creates really good songs out of you. You know, different people create well in different environments. So it makes sense that I also like That Time of Year again because it has that same immediacy.
Yeah. I feel like I haven't had that occurrence like a lot, but when it does happen, like with That Time of Year again, and some of the other lines that I've wrote throughout my other songs, like it just feels natural, like a puzzle piece where like you fit the blocks into the exact way it's supposed to be. And then like when I was writing the lyrics for That Time of Year, it just felt like it flowed exactly like how it was supposed to be.
Yeah, that's cool. Because it does have kind of a unique form to it too. Like it doesn't go how you would expect it to all the time. But I like it. Yeah. It's an interesting song. It's a good song. I think that's of like just like straight songs. I think it's one of your best. I Turned 25 is pretty good too.
Thank you.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff in Horror House I actually really like too. But That Time of Year again, I think is just like all-star. Well, and I remember when we were working on Never Landed.
Yeah.
You were really uncertain about the stuff coming out. You were like, oh, is this right? And I was like, yeah, no, that's right. So maybe that's like a bit of the thing in your head is there's like this thing that's blocking you, even though your first instinct is correct to be like, oh, no, that's not what I should do.
Yeah.
You know, I have the same thing that happens to me. Like I'll have like instincts that are like, oh no, this is stupid. Don't continue it.
Yeah.
You know,
that's exactly what I want to like write about more of.
Is like trying to get out over that like
that hump, just getting through that blockage, and then finally like I feel like if I were able to shed that, I would be so much like better. I'd be like going off the charts type stuff. I don't know.
Yeah. If you just shed that thing that's like, oh, this is stupid, don't do this type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can relate.
Yeah.
Because there are like moments when I can shed it completely and I'm like, ooh, this is sick. Like,
yeah, right.
I'm not worrying about the judgment of it. And just
you're like in the zone of it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's a sick moment. Yeah. It's very cool. Okay, cool. What other stuff do you like listening to nowadays besides The Weeknd? What are some of your other inspirations?
Billie Eilish has been a super inspiration lately
Mm.
as well because I love how she takes a very soft approach in her singing. And I have a very high voice and I love experimenting with my voice and like trying to see like the range of how I could do things.
Hmm.
So learning from how Billie sings or just going through her discography, I want to try making songs that are kind of like that, you know, like they're intense but soft and all that.
Hmm. You got like intense whispery type of stuff.
Yeah.
Interesting. Cool. Anyone else?
I love the Killers. I've been growing up with the Killers as well, aside from like my dad's music, but I forgot to mention them. But the
No,
Killers
you're
is
good.
like a super like indie rock cement core for me. So like when I was making Men's Wrongs, I also wanted it to be like in a rock direction, which is why the Killers was a big
Mm.
inspiration.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it just makes things click in my brain. That like little the Killers connection to it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Billie Eilish thing is interesting. I really do like her production. I'm
Mhm.
actually not a massive fan of her vocals, but I like her production. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like it's just something about it's like not quite the fit for me.
Yeah.
You know, different voices, different people like.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she does a lot of like really breathy things. I think that'd be interesting to hear you do a more breathy approach because you have a more strained approach
Mhm.
to your
Yeah.
vocals. So I wonder how it would sound with that more breathy thing when you were
You
going
will
for
hear
those.
it.
Ooh,
Yeah.
is that happening on the next album? More breathy
Yeah.
approaches?
Yeah.
Oh, sick.
I'm experimenting more, so I want to try like approaches that I haven't at least once. So
Oh, cool. Oh, I'm very
yeah.
excited. I'm very
Yeah.
excited. Oh, weird. Okay, cool. Cool. It's weird because I come out this as like total fan of your vocals, and so I'm like, ooh, cool. I'm excited to see how he implements his vocals in a different direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just to try it for this experimental round, you know.
Yeah. I feel like that's how you learn, right? By
Yeah.
trying it.
Yeah.
Hmm. That'd be cool. Yeah. I like what's coming so far because I Turned 25 is going to be on the next album. I'm guessing. Is that like a lead single? Okay, cool.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you have a name for the next album or are you kind of keeping it a secret?
I do. I'm keeping it a secret for now.
Great. Great. I'll let you.
Hopefully done a few months or something.
Yeah. Great. Great. I'm
Yeah.
excited for when it gets announced.
Heck yeah.
The names have been interesting. I actually think Horror
Mhm.
House is one of my favorite names. Men's Wrongs is a really interesting name for an album too.
Mhm.
I thought of making an album with a similar name. I was working on a few songs for something called Toxic Masculinity.
Right. It's a topic that you I don't know, you just come aware to, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like it's a weird thing because there's the idea of masculinity is so weird in today's culture. You know, it's so put into question. Whereas I feel like for many years it wasn't. And then we kind of examined like, oh, some of these things are wrong. And they're like, well, which ones are wrong and which ones aren't? Kind of becomes the question. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong.
I just think, you know, don't be an asshole to people.
That's a great approach.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a better way to do it. So do you get into horror films as well then? Because you have like kind of like that horror aspect and scary aspect, or is that not your
absolutely, absolutely.
Oh, okay,
I
really?
love
Okay.
my horror movies. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
It's like my favorite genre. Like that's what I consume most of. I think. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You're mostly a horror guy. I wouldn't even guess that.
Yeah. No? Dang.
No. I guess it's just because I guess I think of horror people as people. I guess your clothing does reflect it well, but your attitude is so just like happy go lucky. But I guess that doesn't do any like people who like horror movies are not necessarily like dark and gloomy people. It's just they like horror movies.
I just love it. It gives you the thrill, you know, like you think of these things and then that puts it right in front of you. I don't know.
Yeah.
Ghosts and the stories and the plot lines that scare you if you were ever to be in there. You know?
Yeah, because you're wearing the even your shirt right now. If in case we release any video from this, is the what's that anime called? It's that new horror anime where everything's a circle, right? That's like spinning.
Yeah, Uzumaki.
Uzumaki, that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Did you read the manga for it or just watch the anime?
I read it a while ago, but like nothing ever cemented in my mind, you know. They're all like short stories.
Right.
So I just remember it for like the eerie art. It's very
Oh yeah. The art's epic for it.
Yeah.
There's some stuff that looks just unsettling from that manga though. Freaking
it's so fun.
It's so intense. I don't really do horror, so I'm always just like, no. It's not my generally not my cup of tea. I don't, because I heard, and I could be wrong, that people have like a different reaction to horror.
Yeah.
So like there's like some brains, it's really fun and exciting, and some of us were just like, no, this just sucks. I'm just scared.
Yeah. I have a brother-in-law who's just like that.
Yeah. I am in that camp. I'm just like, why
to exit the room?
Yeah, just like there's no reason to consume this, you know?
Yeah.
I like dark stuff though, like in thriller type stuff, you know, like Attack on Titan or what's something else that's like dark? Chainsaw Man. I'm thinking of animes right now just because you're wearing an anime shirt. But I like other dark media too. You know, I'm reading Game of Thrones right now.
Nice.
The books. Those are really dark. So I just the horror specifically. So what are some of your favorite horror films? Like what do you
Oh man. I love The Grudge, not to be super basic, but The Grudge is super fun. The Ring, Shudder, all the Asian horror movies. All the new horror movies like Hereditary, Midsummer. I love the monster horror movies, Alien, Michael Myers, Jason, all the creatures and the killers. I don't know, all of them.
Great. What like draws you into them? Is it just the feeling of being scared, or is it the specific like aesthetic that they use, or how does what kind of like gets you into that zone?
I think it's the aesthetic, and I think like I just like it's been an easy progression since I've first ever been introduced to a horror movie where like I see a person and then I wonder how they end up, you know? And like they go through the whole turmoil of like almost dying and then surviving, and then almost dying and then surviving. And then they're dead. And then are they dead? And then no. It's just it's fun to track them through like their challenges and obstacles, I guess.
Just to see how everything changes.
Yeah. Like their attitudes change at the start to the end for the survivors, usually.
That is interesting. I do like when that happens in the story.
Mm-hmm.
Just like any type of change, whether it be good or bad, you know, to get more and more dissatisfied and pissed off, or they, you know, realize that they shouldn't have been dissatisfied and pissed off because there's good.
Yeah.
Interesting. Maybe I'll have to watch a horror movie with that in mind. Just the curiosity of how that affects things.
Yeah.
Huh. Cool. Cool. So we talked about your approach to music. How did you get into music initially? Did you just start picking stuff up, or was it karaoke because you're Filipino?
Man, it has been like I don't know, it's been like a boiling point type thing. Like I've been exposed to music all my life, like through my dad's music through the car, and then I'd sing through karaoke. And I started learning instruments when I was young. Like I learned piano first, and then I picked up guitar on my own in high school in senior year. And then I put everything away because college, you know. And then I finally got a big job that pays well. And then I bought myself a new guitar. And then that inspired me to do like a full on like snowball of effect of actually trying to do something and make something out of it.
That makes sense. Just put away that. I kind of had a similar experience actually, where I was really into it. Did college mostly on the back burner while I got my economics degree.
Yeah.
And then I start working, getting paid well. And I'm like, oh, I should start doing music again. And then just hit it hard.
Yeah.
Similar trajectories.
Yeah.
You're lucky though, because you have like both the talents. I only have the music talent. You have this like amazing visual talent to work with,
Wait,
which I think is so lucky.
how do you mean?
Well, because you're a graphic designer, right? Like that's what your job is, like an illustrator
Yeah.
graphic designer. That's so sick.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
get to do both.
You're
I
right.
wish I could draw. I wish I could like do art. I wish I could do visual art.
Yeah.
The only thing I can do is like I've directed a couple music videos type of thing. Like that
Okay.
I'm cool with. Like I can do video type stuff. But
Yeah.
any like drawing, illustrations, my album arts, I always have to outsource them because I'm just like, I don't even want to try to figure out what to do here.
That's fair.
Yeah. So, but your album arts are always incredible and impeccable, and your art style is just awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, I got my graphic design degree and I drew all my life, and I wanted to implement at least my own hand of making my own art into my music. So album art felt like a perfect avenue.
Oh, it's awesome. I think it's so cool
Yeah.
what you do. Yeah. You're just so lucky that you have both those talents. I'm so jealous.
Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah. I wish I would have. I think if I was your way, I would do, if I had your talents, I would do exactly what you're doing.
Okay.
You know, like work in getting to like draw and make design stuff all day.
Yeah.
And then getting to do music too. That's just, you're freaking living the best life, bro.
I guess, yeah.
I don't know if you view it that way, but I look at it and I'm like, that's so sick.
It is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm grateful.
It should be. It's sick. It's dope. You should be proud of your talents and accomplishments. I think it's awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate
that. Do you ever think of like, do you have other like aspirations that you want to do with art? Do you want to like make more kind of painting stuff to hang out places, or more like have more of a visual arts kind of arm to things? Or is it just, oh, I get to implement it with a few things in music, but mostly it's just like day job? Something I enjoy doing.
Yeah, I've enjoyed recently just making the album art, and like I've learned so much since I have been like actively making art that I do want to start picking up like making illustrations and making new graphics and all that stuff, and being active on my art Instagram and all that, and like just posting all my visuals and stuff.
But you have an art Instagram too?
Yeah.
Okay, you'll have to share it with me afterwards. We'll share it too when we put this out. That's sick. Sure. I didn't know you had an art Instagram.
Yeah.
That's baller.
I was in the art grind during the pandemic.
Oh, cool. So there's like, is it mostly like drawings or paintings, or what format do you normally do?
It's all digital illustration. Like I just paint in Photoshop with like a screen tablet thing.
Oh, sick. I love digital art. Like good digital art's sick.
Heck yeah.
Oh, that's dope. I'm excited to check that out. That's how I started with Instagram before I was doing music stuff, and was just like, oh, I got to follow back people and really be on the grind. It was just, I would only follow art Instagrams.
Yeah.
Because they're the coolest.
Absolutely.
So sick. I think that's what it's made for. I think Instagram exists so people can share dope paintings.
Yeah.
Yeah. And photos and stuff. Good photography, good paintings. Yeah.
Good art.
If I ever become famous, I will switch my Instagram again to be only following art, and it will be awesome.
An art curation Instagram.
Yeah. I feel like that's how it should be. Just a dope art curation. The memes are okay too, but the art curations, that's where it's at.
Yeah.
Cool. What kind of inspired you as far as art goes, as far as visual arts? Throughout your life?
With my album art, or
all your album art as well. I was just thinking in general.
Oh yeah. Well, I started drawing at a very, very young age, like at 4. And I drew stick figures like everybody. And I drew all my stick figures with 3 fingers because I had watched, what is it, X-Men, and Wolverine has 3 claws. I'd always draw my stick figures with 3 fingers. But then like from then on, like I'm exposed to like cartoons and anime and Dragon Ball specifically. So I'd always draw like Goku all the time fighting whoever. And I just pursued art onward after that, and just doodled every day in my sketchbooks and stuff. And then, yeah, as for niches and like different like styles that I enjoy, I just really enjoyed drawing characters specifically.
And kind of making new characters, or mostly just seeing characters other people were drawing and drawing those and putting them in different situations?
I think like at some point I pivoted and like I'd only just draw random new characters. Like I'd never give them an identity or like build on them at all. Like I draw them the one time and then move on, but just to try something. I don't know.
That's dope. So you just like design a new character and be like, this now exists. I'm not putting it in any other situations. I'm just putting it once.
Yep.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Oh,
so maybe
I love that.
With this new round of trying to make more art, I might revisit all my old stuff and then try to do something with them. I don't know.
That's dope. I hope you do. That sounds sick.
Heck yeah.
I love like random little character creation stuff.
Yeah.
Cool. And then what inspired your album art?
Yeah. So my first round of album art was a bunch of cloud imagery. And Men's Wrong specifically had that fallen angel stare that there's paintings of. The whole idea behind that was that I was watching a lot of Supernatural at the time, and I was inspired by a lot of angels and demons, and I tied it a lot to Lucifer and his downfall from heaven and all of that stuff. And it's just like the intensity of kind of tackling against the flow of everything else, because I felt like when I was making Men's Wrongs that I would stick out like a sore thumb proclaiming men's wrongs, you know? So yeah, I wanted that to reflect in a way that it's just this intense thing of clouds reflecting on the things that you reflect on, and it's kind of like you're falling down. And the way I think about it is like the imagery, and then I have a song called Shopping Cart Theory that is like this intense like string segment, and it feels like you're falling, and it's all an analysis of how you go about doing things, I guess.
An analysis of how we morally decay and fall type of idea.
Yeah.
That's dope. Cool. And then what if the horror house imagery is too personal, that's okay. But I'm curious what inspired the horror house imagery?
There was no inspiration. I think the only thing that I wanted to highlight was just, I guess it was like, it's myself, but like the person in my mind that is lingering in the back of my head thinking about these things in horror house. And so the whole thing of like the soundtrack being a disguise of how I feel intensely, the art is just, surface level. Like you see what you see.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. Dope. Love all of it. That's so cool. Great. Anything else you want to talk about? You're feeling? You're like, hey, I want to talk about this thing because I feel like talking about it in a podcast setting.
Man, I'm not good at coming up with things off the top of my head. So
perfect. We're good to go then. I feel like we've talked about other things just like hanging out. So
yeah,
great. Well, dude, pleasure having this time to talk about stuff.
Hell yeah.
Podcast wise, and yeah, excited to see you all the time in the scene.
Yeah, hell yeah, it's always fun.